Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to Confidence 3 A's for activating your innate existential confidence. I am your host and guide, Lena Grant. I'm a transformational life coach and a certified 200-hour yoga teacher. I'm also a certified existential kink practitioner, which is something that we will cover a little bit more as we move on, but I just want to say again, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited that I had this download to do this, what I'm going to call a WORKINAR. Because it's a little bit of a webinar, it's a little bit of a workshop, it's sort of a blend of both. So I will be teaching, I do have some very specific points to make, but I really want interaction too, especially with those of you who are here live. So get ready with your chat. And I hope that you have taken a moment to set aside this time for yourself. Grab something to write with, ideally a journal. If you have some water, that's great. And let's get ready to activate confidence, which is something that I believe we are all born with. It's a part of our wholeness that we come into this world with. And along the way, for various reasons, it kind of gets eaten away at. We lose little bits of it. We lose aspects of that wholeness that is innate to our existence. And so part of this personal development and self-discovery journey that I love so much to help people with is reclaiming that, retrieving it, and again, activating it. You're going to hear me say that word a lot of times, and a lot of variations on that, because I feel like, we've just been so depleted in recent months with various circumstances all around us. And so, we've been going deep, and now we're ready to emerge and bring forth all these things that we've learned and all these things that we really need and want. So as we are getting started, this is one of my favorite things to do. Tell me where you are in the world. This helps me connect with your energy and just know where you are. So pop it into the chat. Hello, Suzanne from Sarasota, Florida. Welcome, welcome. Nicole P. from Central North Carolina. Hello, Hope from Ocean City, Maryland. Welcome, welcome. I am in Connecticut. This is where I'm based most of the time. And it is quite cold and rainy here. Oh my goodness, so damp. So cold, but so beautiful. Always. Robin, hello from Manchester, Massachusetts. I'm so happy to see you. Welcome, welcome. Jill from Port Townsend, Washington. Purple heart back to you. And hello, Mariana from Needham, Massachusetts. Oh my goodness. Oh, what fun to have you. What fun to have all of you here. And so if you're just joining, please pop it into the chat where you are. We're really getting ready to engage here, because I can give you all kinds of ideas and inspirations, but we have to take it into action. We have to move with it. So it's that idea of both the receiving and the giving, the questions and the answers. And to boil it down a little bit, it's sort of the idea of the feminine and the masculine and balancing the two. It's really bringing both into action. Hello, Teresa from Seattle, Washington. I bet you know what it's like to have rain in your life, but I hear Seattle is just so beautiful, and almost that it's a big myth that it's so rainy there. Okay, so I am going to do a quick intro and orientation around confidence. So I'm going to be talking. I'm going to have some prompts for you as we move forward in this teaching section. So that will take about a half an hour or so, and then we're going to move into a practice that supports everything that I talk about in this teaching segment. I will be covering a little bit about my group program, Courageous, which is open for enrollment right now. The cart closes next Friday. I have some new bonuses, some new details, some new aspects to that program I'm excited to share. And as always, we'll welcome questions at the end. So that is our agenda for today. And just wanted to sort of orient you and give you a sense as to what we'll be doing. And because, again, this is a WORKINAR workshop webinar, I will be taking notes. So you might see me looking to the side. This is where I put everything right in the journal. All of it gets really coagulated here and collected because, you know, we have like all these ideas, all these visions, all these thoughts, and they just stay in our head. That really eats away at our confidence, actually, and it causes a real disconnection and can actually cause a lot of anxiety as well, which is something I know quite a bit about. Okay, so confidence, etymologically speaking, and I don't know if all of you know this, but I love to say it. I am a huge lover of words. I find words so fascinating. The root of the word, the meaning of the word, the associations to the word. I spend a lot of time in the thesaurus. That's one of my favorite locations in the universe, is to just explore what else a word means and what kind of surrounds it. So the word confidence comes from a Latin root of con, which, you know, in a lot of languages, a lot of Romance languages, associates to with, and fidere is trust. So the actual definition of confidence is trust in one's self. And when you have trust in oneself, oh my goodness, you can do so many things. So now that you have that sort of etymological framing of what confidence means, I want to know, what does confidence mean to you? Pop it into the chat. It can be words, it can be anything. But what other associations do you have for confidence? I mean, I think of other words like assurance, belief, daring. Love that one. Fearlessness, that you just have no fear. It just sort of dissipates. It disappears. Maybe it doesn't even exist, or you're not really in touch with it and it's not affecting you in a way. Bold, Jill, I love that one. Yes, confidence, boldness. Tenacity, aplomb, hardihood. That was kind of a fun one that came up for me, hardihood. Resoluteness, you know, that you just have confidence and you are resolute. You are ready to go. Nothing's going to get in your way. Boom, you are focused. Certainty, Nicole P. I love that. Yes, you are certain and nothing really is, I mean, things can get in the way, excuse me, but you know how to sort of get through them, get over them, blast through them, whatever that might look like. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Morale, poise, backbone, brashness. I mean, sometimes like confidence can almost be something that people find very desirable for themselves. Boldness, Suzanne, definitely. But it's also something that like people sort of resent. Like, oh, that person just has so much confidence. They have so much belief in themselves. And of course, if we're resenting confidence in someone else, it's probably because we're resenting the fact that we don't have it in ourselves. So self-possession, self-reliance, spunk, sureness, that relates to the certainty that Nicole P. Enumerated. Fortitude, firmness. I love fortitude. Fort. It's like, I think of the word fort, that you set up a fort, you're ready to like defend your position and really take a stand. That is what you get with confidence. Let's see. Oh, and of course, courage. When you have confidence, you have courage. So what, like, do you have any, comfort with self? Yes. Yeah. When you have confidence, you are just totally embodied. You feel so good about yourself, your decisions, the way you look, the way you act, the way you think. You just have confidence and comfort with self. Beautiful. Eileen, trust. Yes, that is the fidere, is trust and belief. Very, very closely related in terms of that definition. So what to you is confidence in action, and who embodies that for you? Like when you think of a confident person, and this could be a historical figure, this could be a famous person, this could be a relative, this could be a child in your life. My daughter is very confident. Who represents that to you? Like confidence in action, that they just represent this concept of certainty, boldness, firmness, comfort in themselves. Oprah Winfrey, yes, Nicole B, definitely, definitely, definitely. I actually didn't think of her originally when I was going through this myself, but yes, 100%. She is so, to me, Oprah Winfrey is completely integrated. She has no shame, no guilt about what she's gone through, what she's experienced. She has healed her wounds. She has integrated her trauma to the extent that she is then able to heal others. Oh, I love her. I just look at her as like a bodhisattva. I mean, really, truly an elevated spiritual being. And so amazing that we get to be alive at the same time as Oprah Winfrey. Morticia Adams, Angela, I love that. Yes, she is total. If everyone might not know Morticia Adams, maybe they do. I mean, she is a fictional character that is so aware, self-aware, embodied, totally confident, amazing relationship with her husband, her children, her ancestors. I mean, she has no qualms about being in touch with those who have passed beyond the veil, and just like not even worried about someone mistreating her, because she's like, oh yeah, okay, this is cool, no problem, because I'm so high above you, I have so much confidence. Abby Wambach and Glennon Doyle. Yes, they do. They both have such confidence, and they have such beautiful confidence together. I love that you thought to mention both of them, Mariana. That is so, so beautiful. And I love too that they share their confidence, that they're trying to really inspire other people to be who they are, to really trust in themselves. And Valerie Carr, Eileen, I'm not familiar with that person. Can you give us some context for who that is? When I thought of confidence, I of course thought of some royal figures in history. Queen Elizabeth I. I mean, some serious confidence there, and really like determination comes with that confidence as well. Robin, when I think of toddlers and their innate confidence, it's as though they haven't become disconnected. That is because they haven't. And that relates to what I touched on in the beginning, that we actually come into this world fully whole, fully formed, fully perfect. And as we progress, and this gives me an opportunity to say too why I said in the title of this WORKINAR that this is the 3 A's to activate your innate existential power. So when I say existential power, it's the concept that we decided on a soul level to incarnate in this body at this time with these circumstances in these situations, and that we agreed, again, on a soul level, not conscious, but we kind of signed a contract to go through what we experience in life. And that's the good things, quote good, that's the bad things, quote bad. And that we like sort of said, woohoo, like I'm going to get on this roller coaster ride of human existence and be a spirit in this carnal body. And I'm just going to see what I can go through and what I can get from it and what I can learn being a human. So that's this concept of the existential power. And so that is why we look at children and we're like, oh my God, it's just so beautiful. They're so happy. They're so confident. They're so engaged. They're so curious. And we remember what that felt like to be that child. And of course, as we're going through childhood, we experience sadness, we experience pain, we experience loss, especially as we get older. That comes with awareness, that comes with our evolution. And as those things occur, and I mentioned this in Encapsulation, which is a webinar that I taught on November 6th. You can search that in YouTube, but this concept of the infinite self. And that is what children really represent, that their infinite self hasn't had any sort of circumstances or situations that have knocked anything loose because they're being so nurtured, mostly. Some children don't get that, but let's use general terms, that they have their parents, they have their families, they might have their siblings, their friends, their teachers, really trying to make sure that they are like moving forward and evolving and getting elevated. But then certain things happen. Again, emotional trauma, physical trauma, and a part of ourselves gets knocked loose, and our soul, a little bit of our soul goes with it. And so what we are doing in this existence and in this personal development journey and self-discovery is to bring that self back online, back into this diamond shape of the infinite self, back to that childlike joy, that curiosity, that excitement, that engagement. I mean, their kids are like always activated unless it's finally bedtime and they're like, I'm done. Oh, okay. So Eileen says that Valerie Carr is author of See No Strangers and founder of Revolutionary Love. I will definitely check that out when this WORKINAR is over. Eileen, thank you so much. I love learning about new teachers and new perspectives. Okay, so I'd love to know now, if you would, just take a moment and close your eyes. And maybe take a deep breath, really inhaling that oxygen into your lungs, into your belly, just expanding. Maybe taking a moment to straighten your shoulders and create that nice line in your backbone. Sitting up nice and straight, but also relaxed. You're not sitting at attention here. And I invite you to just drop into your body and welcome in this word confidence that we've said many times now already in this WORKINAR. And I'd love for you to explore the sensory aspects of this word confidence. And sort of ask yourself, what texture does the word confidence make me think of? And just really welcome in that texture. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it sharp? Is it silky? Is it sort of soft like cashmere? Is it woven? Just anything that comes up around confidence. And just welcome that in and maybe hold on to it. And as you are really sort of playing with and welcoming in that texture that you associate with confidence, I'd love for you to see if the word confidence has a color to you. And this could be a very basic color. It could be black, it could be red, it could be blue. It could also be multicolored. It could be shifting, it could be changing. But what color do you associate with confidence? And now with this texture that you've associated and this color that you've brought in that, again, could shift and change, but you might have some sense as to what that looks like. Now I'd like you to explore if the word confidence has a smell. Just really breathe in, and it's okay if you can't smell anything or nothing comes to mind. That's totally fine. But just see if there's a smell, if there's a scent. Is there something like eucalyptus, which might be sort of exhilarating? Is there maybe rosemary that has like a sense of clarity? Is there maybe even like a lavender smell that just is very calming? Because when you have confidence, you feel calm, you feel secure, you feel like you have just total belief in yourself. Or maybe there's another scent. Maybe it's, the smell of like turkey in the oven or chocolate chip cookies. Just really welcome in whatever might be coming up for you. Not just, it's really wonderful to tune in to the senses. Just breathe that in, that texture, that color, that smell of confidence. And when you're ready, open your eyes and pop into the chat. Was there a texture that came up for you around confidence? Was there a smell? Was there a color? I shared some of my own. It has, for me, it has sort of like a metallic texture. Like I thought I saw sort of like a knife. Like when you have confidence, you can just cut through the weeds, the jungle, the vines, like all the things. Ooh, light ocean teal. Beautiful. Suzanne, I love that. Light ocean teal. I wonder where you can find that in your surroundings. If you can like bring that into your workspace, your kitchen, your living room. Did anyone else have a color or smooth pearl smells of earth and dirt? Mariana, I love that. Beautiful, beautiful. And yes, I love the pearl imagery too, because you think of the oyster and they have like little grain of sand that could be a total irritation for them, and they just turn it into a pearl, this beautiful jewel from this sort of irritation that they transmute and transform. So yeah, I thought of the knife. Oh, Robin says a rock, smooth, cool, grounded, and rocky, gray, blue. Ooh, I love blue. And the smell of sun and water evaporating from rock. Robin, it sounds like this rock really has a lot to offer you in terms of this imagery. And the meaning behind confidence on a very sensory level for you. So you could even, find a rock, and I could see you sitting just for a few moments even and really meditating on confidence. That might really bring that full circle for you. And colors, Teresa says aqua, fuchsia, gray, black, and white. I had a sense that someone was going to really experience multiple colors. And of course, colors have psychology behind them. They have different meanings. And of course, meaning also is very, very subjective. So you can get a sense as to what those colors might mean. Of course, aqua has the concept of water. Fuchsia to me relates to the element of fire. And then gray, black, and white sort of, that's like sort of a mix of a lot of other elements, but very basal. That to me speaks to the earth. Sort of the gray of the rocks that Robin spoke to, and the black of the earth. And white, that's a little bit of like the clouds and maybe even like the foam on the sea. But that's something to explore, Teresa, those 5 colors together, and what a really invigorating collection of colors. Like those colors would be very complementary together, maybe even in an outfit. Okay, so next question, and feel free to like welcome that in again whenever you're feeling like you don't have confidence and you need some. Maybe call to mind those colors, that imagery, the aqua, the fuchsia, the gray, the black, the white, the rock with the water evaporating off of it. Robin, you could even say, I'm feeling not so confident right now. You can be letting that like self-doubt evaporate off of you. As if you are the rock, and that self-doubt just like dissipates into the atmosphere. And Mariana, you could think like, oh, I need more confidence. And you just like think of that pearl inside of you, or, that self-doubt is the grain of sand that you, as the oyster of your own experience and your own existence, you turn that into a pearl. So you can transform that self-doubt into something super precious and incredibly beautiful. So I'm going to ask, oh, and Sue, beautiful, glittery, sparkly, multi-reflecting lights and a cinnamon smell. Oh yes, cinnamon is very invigorating, very activating, and something that I think we'll be smelling a lot of in the coming months. So Sue, I hope that that initiates for you on a deep level in your body, this sense of confidence. And I really love to use the body as an instrument of transformation, of discovery and development. I mean, we are given this sort of skin suit, this human suit, as a tool to use in our full on just existence, like the full scope of being human. And sometimes our bodies can require a lot of maintenance, and it can be a little bit of an inconvenience to have a body, especially as we get older. You know, those little kids, they don't have to worry about anything, but we get older, we start to have the aches and the pains and the creaks and the groans. But I think even as we get older and we have those aches and pains and creaks and groans, it's because our body is getting tuned up for us to tune in even more. And of course, it has more requirements, it has more demands, but because it has more requirements and demands, it's actually able to serve us that much more. And so when we tune into these sensory aspects of what something means to us, it brings it down from the head, from this sort of conceptual thinking, intellectual aspect, like down into the body, down into the animal self that we have. And that is a really big part of existential kink, which is a practice that I am trained in. It is a somatic meditation that takes your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and brings them down into the body so that you can process them in a new way and integrate them from your shadow into your conscious awareness and move through them and actually just really like liberate an extraordinary amount of energy. This has been a completely transformational practice for me, which is why I pursued getting certified in it. Nicole P., I love sunny yellow and a rose smell. Oh, rose, I mean, absolutely. And sunny yellow, so much joy in yellow and optimism. And I think like optimism to me definitely relates to confidence. When you are optimistic and you know that everything is going to work out just fine, you have total confidence in yourself, right? And sunny yellow has those associations. And then the rose smell, I mean, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you, because self-doubt is sort of the antithesis of confidence, and when we're lacking confidence, it's because usually we have some sort of self-doubt that has cultivated itself in us for various reasons. So the reasons why you might have self-doubt aside, and we all have a little bit of self-doubt, even the most confident people have at least a little bit, but again, if you're feeling like you're lacking confidence, self-doubt is probably causing that interference and that friction. So let's just say if self-doubt just dissipated like vapor, just floating off a rock into the atmosphere, no more self-doubt, what would you do? If you had supreme confidence, all the confidence that you needed, what would you do with it? If you didn't have self-doubt standing in your way, what would you do? What do you want? What do you want to bring in? Tell me. Pop it into the chat. And it's okay if you need a little bit of time to think of that. Sometimes it's very hard to get in touch with what we want. Sometimes it's a little easier to get in touch with what we don't want. So if that is a more direct route for you to access what you do want, to say, well, I don't want to feel tired, then turn that around and say, I want to feel energized. So if I had confidence, self-doubt dissipated and I had confidence, I would feel energized to take action on my business idea or the book that I'm working on or the art piece that I really want to create. So yes. Oh, Sue, share with generosity. How beautiful. Share what, Sue? I want to know. Suzanne says, I would focus more on my time and energy on my work. So you maybe would feel more energized if you didn't have self-doubt. And what would that bring into your life, Suzanne, if you could focus more time and energy on your work? I would love to hear. And Yvette, expansive new way of existing, relating, and being. Oh, yeah. Suzanne, you would get better results. Okay, better results in your work. Fantastic. I love that. So sharing with generosity, more time and energy, expansive new way of being, existing, relating, and you know, relating, that sounds like relating to others, but also relating to yourself. That is so, so beautiful. So feel free as you might, you know, and I was totally one of those people. I was just like, I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want this. So as we move forward, you might find that you unearth or uncover what you want with this confidence, what you would do if self-doubt just disappeared. Nicole says, I want to feel fulfilled, but not share how. Totally fine. Thank you for setting up that boundary. That is so beautiful. Feel fulfilled. I love that. Teresa, I would help people bring harmony, beauty, and comfort to their home. Oh yes, come home to comfort and beauty and harmony. Absolutely delightful. What a beautiful thing to share. And that is a really big premise of my work. And actually this upcoming program, Courageous, it is a 12-week transformative journey of coming home to your infinite self. So it's this concept of coming home to who we are. And then of course, like who we are is reflected in our external environment, which is our home. So we have the home, our body, which is the home of our spirit, and then our home, the structures, the place that houses our other home, our body. Teresa, that is absolutely stunning. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing all of that. I'm going to take a quick sip of water to see if anyone else wants to share, and we'll move on to the next teaching segment. I'm going to get into I think I'm going to get into the 3 A's. We're going to move right into the crux of it here. So again, confidence, we're looking for that trust, that belief in, and even the word also came to mind was confide. Confidence has confide in it, like that you can confide in yourself, your desires, your beliefs, your truths, and that you know that you're going to deliver them with fidelity and with integrity. And that you can just sort of let go of the not good enough, not worthy enough, damaged, can't move forward because of what's happened in the past. This is what confidence delivers to us, that we get to actualize, actually move forward. Okay, so the 3 A's of activating your innate existential power through confidence. Number 1 is acceptance. Oh, Eileen, peaceful and accepting of joy. Yes, I love that. Thank you. So the 3 A's of confidence. Number 1 is acceptance. And I talk a lot about surrender. Again, this was something I covered in the encapsulation webinar a few weeks ago, that you don't necessarily give up, but you sort of just this blanket acceptance of this is how things are. I can't change what has happened. I can change how I feel about it. We cannot always control what happens to us or what we experience. We can have some influence on it, of course, but we can't always decide what's going to happen, but we do get to decide how we respond to it and how it affects us. And so this concept of acceptance is sort of just, okay, so I'm hearing the word bankruptcy, but in the sense of like, okay, just like clear the decks here, full acceptance of everything I've been through, everything that surrounds me, everything that's going on. And in this acceptance, there's actually a really empowering level aspect to just saying, okay, I signed up for whatever this has to teach me and show me, and I am here for it. I am ready. I accept it, and in accepting it, I can then mold it. I can, it has more malleability when we accept and surrender. And this has a feminine aspect to it, not necessarily gender, like male, female, more on the like divine soul level. So sort of the receptivity of acceptance. I receive fully everything about my life on all levels. And Eileen said, if self-doubt dissipated and disappeared, she would feel peaceful and accepting of joy. Acceptance, number one. That's your first step on this map, this atlas, as you are navigating how to bring in more confidence in your life, how to activate the confidence that is already a part of you. It's already there. You don't need to be given anymore. It's more that you just need to sort of strip away the layers, that mucky mud, that grief, that trauma, that pain, that fear, that anxiety, that depression, that grief, the guilt. Just dig right down and excavate, unearth. And that's what acceptance helps us do. It's like, here we go, baseline, starting our journey with acceptance. Very, very, very empowering. Not always viewed as such, but it is, I promise. And so number two is alchemization. And this is something I covered very extensively in the Metanoia webinar, which I hosted last week. And this is the concept of our chakra system, which is our subtle energies, which is a very extensive system, but for the purposes of making it a digestible visual, I focus on the 7 main chakras. And so what happens a lot in our awareness is that we divide the chakra system because we think of the upper chakras, the throat, the third eye, and the crown as being this sort of very desirable place to be because they're very connected to the spirit world, the spirit. So they tend to flow upward. And then we have the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, which relate to the animal self that we are, because of course we are spirits in an incarnate body. And these lower chakras, we sort of tend to view as undesirable because they relate to our needs, our security, our creativity, and sort of the stinky parts of ourselves, right? Like where our body sort of gets rid of things. So it's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna like cut myself off from that. Like, sure, that's happening, but I just would really prefer to like stay up here in these upper chakras. And then of course we have the heart, which is at the center of our being, that then isn't connected to either one of these systems. And it's just sort of hanging out and not doing, I mean, it's doing its job because it's pumping our blood. It's got this incredible rhythm. It's this extraordinary muscle. It's an unbelievable machine. But what we do with this metanoia, which means reversal of flow, because this is the natural flow, is the upper chakras go up, the lower chakras go down, and the heart gets underutilized. So what we do in existential kink and in finding our confidence, this alchemization, is that we're turning all of these experiences, these undesirable aspects of our lives that we want to get rid of, we don't want to be in touch with, and we focus all the energies into the heart. and turn our whole system on full blast and really find the gold in our being. That is the alchemy, the alchemization of turning these sort of undesirable, sticky, stinky, traumatic experiences, whether they were physical, emotional, both, into gold. That is what we do in this process of really transforming and transmuting what we think we need to get rid of, let go of. I like to say, don't just let go of it, alchemize it. And that's especially for people that maybe have been told in their lives that they're too sensitive, they're too emotional, like just get over it. And some things we do need to let go of, but other things have true gold at their core. They just might look like lead. And that's what the alchemists did. They tried to turn lead into gold, which now in modern day science, we realize you actually can do. But for them, they were really trying to do this on a very metaphorical level. So alchemization, and a really great way to alchemize is it is intellectual, but turning it into a somatic process, but literally reversing the flow. There are some inversions that you can do, some yoga poses that really help bring your blood in a different direction, because we're always standing, we're always sitting, the blood's always going one way over and over again. And when you invert, usually like bringing your legs up above your head or moving anything above your heart, you are reversing the flow and reoxygenating your blood and uncovering gold and releasing these heavy leaden feelings. So that is alchemization. So we start with acceptance, surrender, really just being like, all right, I'm here, I'm ready, bring it on, this full experience, this is amazing. And then we alchemize. So we say, okay, I've accepted how things are, what they are, and now I'm willing to find the gold in this experience, in this space, in what's going on. And then we are able to fully actualize. Now, self-actualization is a term that the pioneering Swiss psychologist Carl Jung used as what our true purpose is in our human experience, to actualize ourselves, to find this wholeness in who we are, what we are, and really bringing that forth. Suzanne, thank you. So much gratitude to you. And to really so in the word actualization is of course the word act. So when you are fully whole and fully present and fully ready, you can act in this really powerful, confident way. And I look at actualization as well as really making an ally of your animal self, because then you have alchemized, you sort of reversed this flow, you've gotten in touch with these lower chakras, which have so much to offer us. And you are then able to be more fully connected to yourself, to others, and deliver this true gold to the world. So acceptance, and then the acceptance actually commences the alchemization process. It starts it, it initiates it right off the bat. And so then you kind of have that underway. And of course that does take some conscious effort as well. It doesn't happen naturally, because the natural flow again is upper chakras up, lower chakras down, heart gets underutilized. But when you do this, true conscious acceptance and then this alchemization, then you can move into your actualization, which is fulfilling your purpose on this earth. That gives you these guidelines, this structure, sort of like the banks of a river, that you can just flow in life with total trust in yourself and complete faith in your experience. So I'd love to know, of those 3 A's, acceptance, alchemization, and actualization, what resonated the most with all of you here? Pop it into the chats. I would love to hear what maybe sort of struck a chord, struck a bell, or maybe you were like, I don't really understand this, or that doesn't resonate with me, but I'd love to know if there was something that really struck you in any way in those 3 A's of acceptance, alchemization, and actualization. It was, I mean, I love all 3 of them. But you think of them as, you know, you start again. This is like the concept of you're on this journey. You've got a map, and you have to start with the first step is that acceptance. And then the second step, which the first step initiates, is that alchemization. And then you can move towards that actualization. Alchemization, Heather, yes, definitely. And Hope, you too, the alchemization, because I need to work on opening my heart space. Oh yes, we all do, all the time. And a great way, Hope, to just do it like right off the bat is to bring your shoulder blades in towards one another, towards your spine. That initiates a physiological response of opening the heart space. But that is something that we focus on a lot as well in Courageous, because I'm blending yoga and these sort of meditative practices together to really do this alchemization. Heather says, I'm pretty good with my acceptance of how and who I am today. That is amazing. That is amazing. And that is so, so, so powerful. Brava. Robin, I've been discovering that acceptance requires identification and awareness. Absolutely. Have had a few, oh, so that's what happened moments lately. Yeah, so that's what happened. That's what happened. I think there's also this sort of, with acceptance, moving into a position of the witness of your experience. So you almost like remove yourself emotionally, almost like what a doctor has to do when they are dealing with a patient. Of course, they have empathy, they want the best for their patient, but they might have to, like, you know, look at the patient as the symptoms, the experience of what they're going through, and there might be some pain involved in actually making things better. But I love that the acceptance requires identification. Heather says, I still need to understand alchemy a bit more yet. Heather, I would love for you to watch my Metanoia webinar. I can try to make sure you get that link directly, but it is on YouTube. Just search Metanoia on YouTube, and that should come up. I don't think a lot of people are talking about metanoia, at least not yet. And Teresa says, all 3 together are so helpful. Actualization, fully whole and fully present. I find my energy gets stuck in 1 and 2. Yes, because, you know, we have to sort of like, it might be a slog at first to move through these things, and it's a slog because the ego says, no, you know, all these things that happen, that's everyone else's fault, and I don't want to face it, I don't want to change because this is how things are, and the ego wants us to stay safe. Our brains are highly evolved for survival and for evolution, absolutely, but not happiness. Not happiness, survival. And so that is another aspect of this metanoia, the reversal of the flow, the alchemy, that we say, well, okay, this is how we're programmed. This is what we're given, and this is what we're going to do with it because now we're in charge. And the ego has so much to give us, so many gifts, but we really get to, you know, run the ship. And our ego thinks that it's going to do a better job at driving the ship than we are, but that's not true. we need to get everything on board, everything online, the infinite self. Eileen, using alchemy to reverse false narratives into truth. Woohoo! Eileen, I love it. I feel like you are actualizing right now. That's amazing. So, so beautiful. Okay, quick sip of water for me, and then we're going to move into our practice. So this practice is called Emotional Freedom Technique. And a little bit of personal history. When I first discovered EFT was through a coach, and I was super resistant for many years. I was like, this is hooey. And of course, I looked at the science behind it, and it's considered pseudoscience because they cannot prove why it works. They've done studies and they're like, okay, well, it works, but we don't know why. We know that people do this and they feel better, but we can't say why. So I cannot give you any science-backed information as to why this works. I wish I could. Maybe we can eventually, because science and spirituality, I feel like, are coming back together. Science was birthed from spirituality. And so I think this is part of this awakening going on in our world, that we really can have both. All these truths exist simultaneously. And this is what's happening on the level of quantum physics anyways, that they're realizing like everything is one and everything is nothing. So I digress. But EFT, emotional freedom technique, is I call it psychological acupressure. And Sue, I just want to acknowledge this comment. I recognize that energy gets stuck at actualization. It feels like some sort of resistance there. Well, Sue, it's so perfect, because EFT helps us move through resistance. And that is our ego probably at play, that it doesn't want us to actualize, because in actualizing, we can't hide anymore, and that doesn't mean that we can't rest and replenish, but it means that we can't just like stay hidden. We're going to be out in the world. We're going to be expressing ourselves. We're going to be delivering our gifts. And so actualization is scary. It's absolutely scary. And your ego might be saying, no, there's fear here. No, don't do it. But that's actually a huge gift. And that's a really good thing to be aware of. And maybe you just need a little bit more confidence, a little bit more courage to do that actualization, and to really also get in tune with what that means. And that's where desires start to come in. What do you really want on the other side of that? And of course, that can help us get over our barriers and our resistance. Okay, so EFT, amazing practice for resistance. I really started using EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping, as I was really diving into my personal development journey, and really actualizing on my commitment to stop standing in my own way, to stop self-sabotaging myself, and to really live a fully embodied, joyous, blissful life. And I found that there's so much anxiety coming up for me as I was facing, what surrounded some past traumas, but especially is what surrounded my growth, my future growth and fulfillment of my desires. So I started using EFT anytime I started to feel anxiety. And for me, anxiety shows up for people in so many different ways. It tends to be when we're in our heads and we have too many thoughts and they're like running away with us. That's a little bit of the disconnection between the head and the body. And actually for me, anxiety shows up on a physical level in my, right in my chest, right in my sternum. It hurts. It's like this constricting pain, which also shows up for me as grief. So obviously grief and anxiety play with each other quite a bit in my own body. But anxiety could be showing up for someone as like holding the breath, can't make decisions, just feel like paralyzed by even really simple decisions, or like not wanting to do something really basic or that we need, or, it can be even like, I don't know what to eat. I can't think, like too many thoughts. Anxiety to me is too many thoughts. And so tapping can really help move through those feelings. And because it is a psychological acupressure, we are pairing physical touch with, oh my God, what are they called? Affirmations. But also really not just saying good things, we're really acknowledging the bad stuff. And I say quote unquote bad because that's a very dualistic perspective, that things are good or bad. And actualization is actually moving towards that there are no good or bad things. They're just, everything just is, and it's what we do with it, and it's how we react to it. So pairing the physical touch and the verbal affirmations, which are actually totally optional. It's the physical touch paired with like what we're thinking that speaks to our limbic brain, which is a deep, deep brain that is related to the monkey brain and the reptilian brain. So the reptilian brain is like our deepest brain, and then our monkey sort of mammalian brain surrounds that. And then there are two other layers, which we can get into in another WORKINAR down the line. But our reptilian and our monkey brain, that's what relates us to the animal kingdom, associated again with our lower animal self chakras. That is the part of our brain that wants us to stay safe, that gives us fears out of love, that gives us anxieties in order to give us organization, structure, and be like, okay, well, this is your home, this is your space, this is where you're safe. And that's why we get resistance and fear and anxiety, because really this deep, highly evolved, deep aspect of ourselves wants to make sure that we continue evolving and that we continue surviving. It doesn't know how safe that we actually are in our lives. And of course, when we are totally confident, we can be totally safe. So we're in charge of our own safety with our confidence and our trust and belief in ourselves. So EFT, I'm going to go through all the points. I will call them out. I encourage you to, yes, there will be a replay. Heather, and thank you so much for joining. I will call out the points. I invite you to follow along. Hopefully you feel safe in your space, even if you feel like this is weird, it works. If you choose not to follow along with the points, you will still benefit from this practice. And I'll just go through one round, and then, so we'll tap out the resistance, and then we'll call in the good things. So we'll just do 2 rounds. And something to do as you are starting this, and you don't have to tap it into the chat, but just check in with yourself. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most, how much self-doubt do you have? Is it 9, an 8, 5? Just welcome in that number, and then we'll get started. Okay, so we start on the karate chop of the palm. And I'm going to close my eyes because that helps me really stay present in the practice. And you want just a very light tapping touch. And as we tap here on the karate chop point, I invite you to say, even though I have so much self-doubt, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then we move to the opposite karate chop point. Even though I have so many reasons to have this self-doubt and resistance to moving forward in my life, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then back to the original karate chop point. Even though I have this self-doubt and resistance showing up really in like absolutely every aspect of my life, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then we move to the top of the head. Again, very gentle, light tapping right on the crown of the head. Even though self-doubt is this very integral aspect of my daily life, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then we move to right above the eyebrows. Again, lightly tapping just with the fingertips, the pads. Let's take a nice deep breath. And even though I feel like I'm letting self-doubt interfere with my work, showing up in the world, with experiencing joy. I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then moving to the side eye. Oh, and I like to do this with both fingers. Some people do it with one, but I like to do it with both. Even though all this self-doubt just kind of swirls around me and occupies every thought I have, every desire, just anytime I think of something I want, just self-doubt just like creeps in and seeps in like a fog on the ocean. And it just really makes it hard to see my future clearly. So I just feel stuck and icky. But even though I feel stuck and icky in this fog of self-doubt, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. Breathing in, and then we move to just below the eyes. Again, very, very gentle, light tapping. Can be a very, very subtle touch here. Even though I just still feel mired in self-doubt, and even though I know I should just let it go, I have trouble doing that because I think actually I might find some comfort in this self-doubt. It's what I know. Now under the nose, right above the lip, that intermediary space. Even though self-doubt has really just taken on its sort of own role in my life and really causing a lot of interference on so many levels, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then right here on the chin, right below the lower lip, even though releasing self-doubt just seems really difficult. And you know what? There's a part of me that just doesn't want to do it. What does that even look like? How will I define myself if I don't have my self-doubt? I'm just, even though I have these thoughts that I know I shouldn't have, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then to the collarbones. Even though I have let self-doubt really interfere in my life in so many situations, in so many circumstances, and even though I'm letting it still play this really sabotaging role in my life, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then we move to the back. I like to do this again with both arms. It's as if you're giving yourself a hug and you're tapping right where your bra strap runs along your back. And even though, again, I just know I shouldn't have this self-doubt, that I should just let it go. And that so much will open up for me. Even though I know these things, and even though I have this resistance to letting it go, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then I like to tap on the sternum. Again, the light tapping, just right like where the stomach meets the rib cage, right around the solar plexus area. And even though I feel a little bit of guilt and shame that I have all this self-doubt and that I know I shouldn't necessarily have it and I should really just have let it go at this point, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. And take a nice deep breath here. And then we tap together the wrists and say, and so it is. Now, how is everyone feeling after that? I actually felt a little bit of nausea come up as we moved to the collarbone area. Definitely take a sip of water. We just moved a lot of energy in your system. I also messed up my hairdo. We just sort of flushed it out, and we just poured love and acceptance on it. And so check in again on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most. How much self-doubt do you have now? Or has it maybe taken a different form? Do you feel a lightness? Do you feel a release? Do you feel truth? Maybe you're feeling just blissed out and you don't want to chat. That's okay too. Okay. Well, we're going to move on to the next. I feel present and lighter, Teresa. Thank you so much. I do too. Present and light. I feel like just this huge lifting of energy and weight. I hope other people feel that too. I mean, we were, and what I said may have not related directly to you, but of course there is an interconnection to all of us. Mariana, you love the EFT. Getting ready for clients. Yes, go, go, go. Get your clients. Go take care of them. Thank you for being here. I mean, what we do for ourselves, we do for the world. And what we do together, we do for ourselves on such a deep, deep level. And so some of the prompts that I provided may have really resonated with you directly, or you may have said like, oh, that doesn't quite work for me. But either way, you got benefit out of that practice. So now that we've cleared the self-doubt, now we're going to really call in the confidence. And EFT is a practice. I mean, that's sort of a full practice. That's my own variation on it. You can find a lot of resources. Robin says she's more present and focused. Presence, I mean, that is the antidote to fear and anxiety, is really being present and that acceptance. Teresa says, I feel like I gave my younger self, inner child, a chance to step forward. Oh my God, I think I'm gonna cry. Thank you, that's so beautiful. I feel teary. And Sue says, self-doubt morphed into a visceral feeling of withholding. Sue, you do not have to share this in the chat, but I'd love for you to take that deeper after this WORKINAR and journal on that. What are you withholding, and what does it need? What does whatever is in charge of this withholding, what does it need from you? Probably some love, acceptance, approval, but maybe something else. Maybe it needs an action or words. But really, I invite you to really explore that and get in touch with it. So now that we have sort of moved through what we could generally say, the negative, the self-doubt, now we're going to focus on the positive and bringing in the confidence. And so EFT is a practice. You can find a lot of practitioners and they all have a general structure. So that's my own style of EFT. And then I have a hack where I tap just on the collarbones. And this is a very accessible thing to do. Again, when the self-doubt, the anxiety, the fear, the feeling of unworthiness comes up, you know, sometimes this is like in the morning or even when I'm out walking and I have like a big day of tasks and sharing myself with the world. And I just need, you know, my body's kind of like crying out for love and attention. And so I just tap here, and sometimes my eyes are open, sometimes they're closed. I'm going to keep my eyes open for this one. And I just sort of say, wouldn't it be amazing if I just brought confidence into every aspect of my day today? And maybe I have been willing to experience all of this self-doubt and questioning about my worthiness in order to fully understand what confidence is and to really feel gratitude for it, because I have contrast in knowing what this self-doubt and feeling of unworthiness really looks like and what it means. And wouldn't it just be amazing if all of the work that I'm doing, every step that I take, is moving me closer to just showing up with total confidence in the world, complete courage, total fearlessness? Wouldn't that just be amazing? Wouldn't that feel so good? Being sure to breathe as you're doing this. I'm feeling some grief come up for me. And wouldn't it just be amazing if I could just let go of this concept of who I think I need to be based on what other people have told me I need to be and based on what I think other people think I should be, that really cultivates this self-doubt? What if I could just, wouldn't it be amazing if I just turned all that into confidence and used that to like fuel me? Wouldn't that be amazing? And just, isn't it amazing that I get to choose? That I get to choose love, acceptance, joy, confidence, and courage. And then you'll probably feel like you have initiated a shift, and you don't even have to do the formal check-in, but you can just ride the wave of having released anything. Again, maybe you've brought something up. Maybe you might be experiencing, because you've like focused on what you're bringing in, it's brought up something that's interfering with what you want to bring in. And so you've just created space for it to fully exist and receive the love and approval that it probably needs. So how is everyone? That's a great hack. If you can't do the whole, you can't like wrap your head around doing a full EFT practice, just tap on any place in your body that calls out any of those points, and you may have noticed there are a lot in the facial area. We have meridians running through our bodies, which is part of why they can't prove this scientifically, because meridians are it's a subtle energy. Like you can't see them. You can't see the chakras. You can't see the nadis. You can't see the meridians, but they are there. And they're very powerful. Teresa loves the hack. The hack is amazing. The collarbones for me and the solar plexus sternum area tend to really speak on a deep level. And again, for me, those are very close to, again, the lower chakras, the animal self. So you can find your own hack. That is what this self-discovery journey is all about. What works for you? Okay, so feel free to keep telling me how that worked out for you. That completes our formal teaching segment. And I would like to super fast go over the Courageous webpage. I have some new bonuses. I have a new frequently asked questions section. I have some new bonuses to offer. I have a new intro video that's posted. I won't play that today, but you can check that out yourself. And one of the bonuses I'm particularly excited about. Claire says, I knew a teacher who taught this to her kids at school. Oh my God, if I had known this in school, amazing. Tapping calmed them and showed the other kids and teachers they were not feeling okay. Oh, wow. What a beautiful, beautiful thing to offer those children. I mean, there's so much that we can teach children early on so that they know how to cope with these resistances, these emotions, these feelings that can really interfere with living happy, full lives. So super duper fast, the Courageous webpage. This is my 12-week journey of coming home to your infinite self. We do all kinds of alchemization, self-actualization, name of the game. This is about getting confidence, connection, and joy to yourself, activating your purpose, discovering it, uncovering your truths, releasing limiting beliefs, coming from a place of the core, that golden place. And I love this image of the lotus, like rising from those murky depths and blossoming into this beautiful, beautiful flower on the surface of the water. And of course, water to me relates to emotion, that it's able to find the golden sunlight and actualize itself from the seed that is probably long forgotten and just waiting for the rains. So instead of remaining mired in stress, fear, and self-sabotage, you can move through it and find a channel for your desires and a way to express them. And really huge premise of my work that I assist my clients with is to synthesize your physical and metaphysical lives. And so that relates to this concept of metanoia, that we're bringing together the upper and the lower chakras, the animal and the spiritual self, into the heart space, fully activating and turning on all aspects of your being, getting everything back online and really like just igniting that infinite self so that you can show up in the world in just extraordinary ways. And I did go over this sales page in my original Metanoia webinar, but again, there have been some updates. I've had such incredible feedback from people. So I wanted to make some changes. There's a little bit of bio about me and how, oh my God, so much self-doubt, so much self-sabotage, so many illnesses that, of course, Western medicine, I was just this enigma to them. They were like, well, you can like just keep taking all these medicines and, you know, we can't really help you because all of this is probably in your head anyways. And so I was like, well, we're going to really take a look at what's in my head then and turn it into gold. So here we are with Courageous. And just, you know, if you feel ready to like transform your relationship with yourself and just alchemize everything that you've gone through, all the pain, the grief, the sorrow, the depression, the procrastination, all of it. We just let go of fear, overwhelm, anxiety, all these things that interfere with how you show up in the world. I have some really wonderful testimonials from beautiful, beautiful souls that I have worked with. Just really, this is about a safe space to explore what you've been through, explore your emotions, unpack them. I give this outline of the modules. There are 6. We meet bi-weekly every other week. And we move through the modules, of course, build on one another. We start with the infinite self. And we do this work, again, on a very physical, metaphysical level. So I take this blend of yoga as well as very intellectual, sort of psycho-spiritual practices, a lot of journaling. I give you guided meditations, some practices that will really help you anchor in to what you're learning and understanding. Joy is a huge premise of this work, of this course, as well as developing a new relationship with anxiety and fear. I talked about how those things are huge, huge gifts for us. And they have so much information to share with us, but again, it's how we react to them, how we interact with them. Module 4, we move into an existential kink intensive. So the modules leading up to module 4 are really setting the foundation for us to go deep and explore this very somatic approach to alchemizing our emotions, our trauma, our grief, our fear. And existential kink is, I cannot speak more highly of this as a practice. It's very ego annihilating and it liberates energy on such an extraordinary level. It's a form of rapid shadow integration. When Carl Jung identified the shadow as the parts of the unconscious mind that get repressed and pushed away, he realized that in helping people self-actualize and become whole, that they needed to integrate this shadow, to bring together the unconscious mind and the conscious mind and get them to really communicate on a level that would make it so that the unconscious wasn't trying to run the show, so that they would be more collaborative. And for him, the process of shadow integration was going to take 30 years. But my teacher, my mentor, has created a process that works so much faster than that. It can actually happen in a matter of days or weeks. But of course, it does take preparation to access this part of ourselves and this willingness, this acceptance and approval. And so once we come through this intensive, which of course you're being supported with the meditations, the practices, bi-weekly phone calls, as well as the meditations, the group, and a private online platform that is not Facebook. It is a dedicated platform just for this course. Then you can create a new reflection. You can write a new story. We plug into what the infinite self wants for us in the future, what we need to do to attain it. And then module 6, our final module, we are just turning on that heart full blast through boundaries, loving boundaries. I think we often think of boundaries as being very violent. But even, what happened earlier in this WORKINAR, that someone said, this is what I want to do, but I don't want to share how. That was such a beautiful boundary. And I hope that you can really tune into that for yourself, because we think of like, oh, well, if I have boundaries, then I'm going to hurt someone. But when we have boundaries, we can protect and cultivate our confidence, our truth, our gift, our potential, our purpose, and deliver that gold to the world in a new and beautiful way. So I'm all about guidance, inspiration, and activation. So very specifically in this 12-week intensive, you get 6 guided meditations, 6 gentle movement videos, 6 modules with journal prompts and practices to really bring that which you are learning into your awareness, your consciousness, like really program it in, not just like understand it on a certain level, but like really get it and act on it. We have 7 live group calls. You get a 60-minute one-to-one existential kink coaching session with me. We will also be doing a dream workshop. So movement, journaling, and dreaming are 3 tenets of this program. So if you are not a dreamer currently, you don't remember your dreams, I have some practices and some recommendations for how you can start to do that. We'll be interacting with our dreams on a personal level. And in this dream interpretation workshop, I'll be showing you how to interpret your dreams in a really helpful way. And again, we have this private online platform for content, interaction, support, and discussion, which sort of fills in the time in between our live group coaching calls. Some amazing, amazing testimonials from people. Enrollment closes next Friday, November 20th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So right before midnight. And I know so many people are going to say, well, why? I'm just going to wait to sign up, which is why I have a fast action bonus now. I had 5 of them. There are 3 remaining. If you sign up, one of the next 3 people to sign up, you get an additional one-to-one coaching session with me. That's a $500 value. So sign up quickly. My promise to you, you'll have a fresh perspective, more confidence, even more than you got out of this WORKINAR. Comfort. I think we can attain comfort when we have confidence. They kind of relate to one another, and just an incredible amount of tools and practices to help you cope with anything, things that you will rely on definitely in these 12 weeks, but so far beyond that. This, for me, I want to give you value that you're just going to use your whole life for all the people that you love, and the world that we all love. So I have some, the journey is for you. If you really want to know who you are, you're really into this personal discovery and self-development, you want to explore new channels of expression, willing to shed some light on some darkness, maybe like explore those murky depths. And you want results, because I'm all about results. If you lack curiosity, unwilling to apply a playful attitude, have no interest in changing, and want to blend in with the crowd, do not sign up for Courageous. This is not the course for you. Amazing results for everyone, just all about how you will feel. I think we're programmed to like don't feel. But what we are all aiming for here in Courageous is this concept of wholeness. And in getting there, we do need to do a little bit of slowing down and really supporting our bodies. Full pay is $19.97, and actually this is getting updated. I am not going to charge additional for a payment plan. It will be $197, 10 payments of $197 if you want to sign up for the payment plan. I want this information, this content to get to as many people as possible. So if you need a payment plan, you will not be penalized. Here are some of my new bonuses that I'm offering. 2 of my 21-day courses, Wanting and Having. These speak to the starting place for manifestation. You have to know what you want, and you have to know how to get it. So these 2 courses are very complementary. They work on their own, but wanting is a prerequisite for having. But this is where you start in your manifestation journey, and bringing in the abundance that you want, the joy, the happiness, the confidence. These are very complementary starting places. Lucidity is about synthesizing your dream and waking life, because there actually is no difference between the 2. You also get lifetime access to both of my summits. This is 17 interviews, each of just extraordinary content that incredible gifts of all of these speakers. These are like mini master classes, each one. You will also, you receive this dream interpretation coaching session, as well as your existential kink coaching session. That's an additional bonus. So you actually get 2 coaching sessions, and you get 3 if you sign up for the fast action bonus, and a year-long membership in my Scorpio Moon Dream Lounge. This is a community gathering for people to share their dreams, but not just share them, like to really unpack what the messages might be for, like on a very collective level. So when we work individually on your dream, we work on what it means and what you do about it to bring that dream into waking life. And in the Dream Lounge, we're actually looking at it as more of a collective message. So this is over $2,000 in bonus content. And this is a new section I added about frequently asked questions, because I was getting some frequently asked questions. You'll need about 3 to 4 hours per week for these assignments, which is on average about 30 minutes a day, which is pretty reasonable for the amount of transformation that you are going to get out of it. That's because I value your time so much. The yoga movement videos are about 10 to 15 minutes, and the meditations are between no longer than 15 minutes. They're usually about 10 minutes. And then I have some very quick journaling practices, because the movement videos and the meditation bring you to such a deep place that you'll be able to like respond to the prompts in a very like immediate way. What is the infinite self? We covered that in this webinar, but it's this concept of the you that exists on all planes at all times, extends backwards, forwards, sideways, up and down in time and space, and just wants the best for you. It represents your wholeness, and that is what we're coming home to and what we're actualizing in Courageous. I also covered existential kink. There's another definition here that you can explore, but really about uniting the unconscious and the conscious mind through somatic practices. And then I go into a little bit of the difference between no and yes. I want you to have a really pronounced yes to taking this course. I'm looking for people who are committed to their personal transformation. I also outline what happens right when you sign up for Courageous and when the schedule for the calls. I also am offering a 100% money back guarantee, because I am so confident that you will get extraordinary results from this course. it does involve you proving that you are doing the work. You can't just sign up, do nothing, and then expect your money back. You are making an investment in yourself. I am making an investment in you. But after 30 days, if you have done the work and you are not getting results, I will give you your money back. And here at the end is a little bio, an additional bio about me and how I structure my work in the world. So I will type in the link here for the sales page. I had some trouble in my last webinar. People were not able to get to it, but there it is. You can click on that. You can explore the page yourself. There's a lot of content in the beginning I didn't go over because now we have been here for 90 minutes. I cannot believe it. This has been so, so beautiful. Thank you all so much for showing up for yourselves, for sharing on such a profound level. Thank you for bringing this beautiful energy to this WORKINAR, the 3 A's to activating your innate existential power, confidence. I hope that this WORKINAR has just activated something so beautiful in you, uncovered things that you can be in full acceptance of, that you want to explore this concept of alchemization. I cannot wait to guide you through that. This has just completely transformed my life. I think I don't even know where I would be without these practices. And I feel so committed to them and so inspired by them. So that's why I'm here, showing up in the world in this way. Teresa, thank you so much. This has just been so, so great. I feel lighter. I feel inspired. I can't wait to step out into the world with my own new level of confidence. It has been my absolute honor to be helping all of you release that self-doubt, just evaporating it and covering all these sensory aspects to confidence. I hope that you will welcome all of that in and continue to explore what that means for you. Go forth with your boundaries, with your confidence, find your truth, activate your purpose, and actualize the beauty and the joy that is you. Thank you. Thank you. Until the next. Bye-bye, everyone.